Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tuesday Night Live podcast from the range with your host, John G. Johnson. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live here from the range in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida. If you don't know who I am, my name is John Johnson. I'm the owner and operator of a firearms training facility in beautiful Cape Coral, Florida, who specializes in you. We're here to help you become a better shooter. We're here to work through all the fundamentals you have. We're here to help you with drills, tips, techniques. These lives each week are done different topics, different areas about how to promote and help you become a better shooter. Tonight is a good program. It's going to help us understand a lot of different stuff. How are you guys doing this evening? You know how this goes. If you are on this live tonight, go ahead and comment. Let us know you're here. That helps us out tremendously. Know who we see, and you can go ahead and say hello. If you're new for the very first time, you can go ahead and use your name and where you're from. We would appreciate that very much. Helps us out tremendously. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Hello, Phil. Welcome, buddy. I appreciate you being here. And we give you shouts out when you come on. John, hello, buddy. We give you shouts out and let you know that we appreciate you each week. This is a good program this evening due to the fact that it talks about what's killing your accuracy. You know, we've all been there, right? Where you're at the range, your sights are lined up, your trigger is prepped, and you're still missing. Does that sound familiar? Most people, it does. And there are a few things that cause people to be inaccurate with a pistol, and we're going to give you the real 10 accuracy killers and how to fix them. I can tell you that it's not difficult, but there are a few little things that people don't realize they're doing. In this Tuesday Night Live, we're going to delve into the 10 accuracy killers that are ruining your shot placement. Even when you think you're doing everything right, whether you're a new shooter or a seasoned one who's reached a plateau, you will learn the most common mistakes almost every shooter makes. And you can comment and let us know what kind of mistakes you think you're making. One of the greatest things I can give a student is help them identify what they're doing wrong. And if we can identify what we're doing wrong, it makes it easy for us to solve it. Why flinching is just not a newbie problem. It happens to everybody. How your trigger finger is secretly sabotaging your accuracy. That damn finger, it does what it wants to do. It's not. We don't have that mind melt between you and your trigger finger. And why is your stance and grip might be your biggest issue? A lot of people don't understand that. We have to have a solid foundation. We're working on a firearm. It starts at the ground and goes all the way to the firearm. We will walk you through the accuracy killers, explain how it shows up in your shooting, and give you practical fixes that you can apply to get immediate results. And in the midst of this, you know, we do have that Masterclass that's coming up July 7th that we help people out tremendously. We've discounted this one here. It's going to be set up for July 7th at 7 p.m. And this is 4 weeks working with the man, working with me to get you through your fundamentals, help you understand. It's a course. You can be anywhere in the United States and do this course. What you need to be able to do is get to a range at least once a week. You have 50 rounds of ammo and be able to have a willingness to learn. What you get from us is the course. You get the ebook about the Masterclass. You're going to get the course itself. You're going to get all the videos correlated to the course. So when I say proper grip, not only are you going to be able to read it, but you're going to be able to see it through a video of the course. Then you're going to get homework each week that you need to go to the range and complete. And then you're going to send me a copy of that through your phone to the course. And we are going to communicate what I think you're doing wrong. And majority of the time when we're getting these targets back from the students, it's a pretty simple one or two things that makes a student from missing all the time to, oh, thank you, Phil, for saying that. Phil says, it's worth it. Highly recommended. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate you saying that. It takes a student from not understanding what they're doing to doing it. And we've done this class, I believe, ever since February. And each time we had the beta group and the next group and the next group. And the newest group is starting their second week. And we're already getting solid returns on it. So if you're interested in it, it's in the link below. It's the best price for the whole year so far. We've moved these prices around to see exactly what's the best price we can do. That's going to make one of, I've done it at $79 for the beta group. I did it at $125. I did it at $99. And now we're doing it at $89. You get 4 weeks working with me, and you will improve your accuracy in 4 weeks. Well, it's actually 5 weeks because we do the following week. But we're going to give you everything you need to be proficient. If you're interested, it is in the link below, and it's a quick sign up. Starts July 7th, 2025 at 7 p.m. All you need is a firearm, willingness to learn, and you will become accurate with your pistol. Finally. Let's remove that. There we go. All right, beautiful. So, if there are mistakes holding you back, there is probably a solution. It's more than ammo. It's better training. That's exactly what the Master Your Accuracy class is all about. It helps you in 4 weeks, a step-by-step proven system to fix your trigger control, build your consistency, train with drills that translate into real-world accuracy. If you're looking to join, we would love to have you. It's a passion of mine. I wanted to put a product together that would work throughout the United States. I have the YouTube channel. People love what they give them, and I just wanted to give them something out there. Speaking of give, we have our ebooks. You guys know about them. If you visit my website and you have not got a free ebook from us, go ahead, click the link in the descriptions below, go to the website, put the book you want. What are they about? They're about grip and stance and trigger control and sight picture and sight alignment. They're everything a student needs. I'm going to give you one for free. If I could recommend one for you, I would tell you, Why Do I Shoot Low and Left is one of my best books. It's the most popular. And I can tell you, if you get that book, you'll kind of solve some of your issues already. Now, I'm going to give you that book for free. All you got to do is put it in the cart below and then put free book at checkout, and it's yours for free. Now, guys, those books are on sale for $2.99. Now, they're normally $3.99. If you want to add a few more to the cart, it would not hurt my feelings, and you'd be supporting a family-owned business like mine. And that would help us out tremendously. All right. So here are 10 major accuracy killers and how to fix them. And you kind of already know which one I'm going to say first. And if you don't, you ain't been on one of these lessons very long. Thank you for the thumbs up, whoever did that. I appreciate that very much. Those that are watching, God bless you. That's awesome to do the thumbs up. 10 major accuracy killers and how to fix them. Number one, what do you think it is, guys? What do you think it is? It's trigger control. We all know that. We all know that. John, you tell us that every week. Well, I need you to listen to me. I need you to start solving it. I need you to really see it for it to become a problem for you. Majority of people get a little slappy, they get a little pulley, they get a little jerky on the trigger, and that causes most of the inaccuracy that you're going to see on a regular basis. So, what we need to solve is the problem, and the problem is slapping, jerking the trigger, or making the muzzle move off target. That's what's happening. It's moving off target. So, should we do? The fix is a smooth, straight back rear press. Master this with dry firing and trigger prep drills. A lot of pistols have a lot of different trigger travel. And trigger travel is the distance the trigger moves through the stages of it coming back until the weapon fires. Rob Bomber, thank you, buddy. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for being here. So absolutely what we need to do is take that trigger back and feel every one of those areas that it gets to until it gets to some wall or some hesitation that's different than anything else. And once you've got that trigger back to a certain point, then we start focusing on the front sight to make sure that that weapon is in a level position, and then slowly begin to press the trigger back until the weapon fires. By the way, tonight we are back on Facebook and we are back on Rumble. We had Facebook didn't like us for a couple months, and now we're back on Facebook. So if you're watching this on Facebook, welcome. Thank you for watching it on Facebook. I think I got in Facebook jail for about 2 months or 3 months on a ad I did 6 months ago or something like that. So welcome back, Facebook. I'm glad you're here. I didn't get them all back. I got the Facebook one back though. Yeah, Instagram's probably going to be next week. All right. So the next one would be inconsistent trigger pressure. The problem is having a weak or uneven grip leads to muzzle movement, especially during recoil. Recoil management is one of the biggest challenges for most students because not only are they fighting the recoil, but they're fighting the gun going bang and you're feeling it in your hands. It's just not natural to shoot a pistol. So we really have to work at it to become a better shooter. So what we need to work on is figuring out what the proper grip is. And the proper grip we've showed you multiple times. And my YouTube channel has plenty of videos about how to hold a pistol. Yeah, I know, man. It's tough, buddy. Hey, Kurt Richards, thank you. Welcome, buddy. Glad you're here. So what we're looking for is to get those 2 thumbs forward, give us a good solid grip with both hands. Grip should stay consistent before and after the shot. I see this a lot when they're like, think about us carrying a bucket across the room. And we have to have that bucket in our hands and hold and control it. And then we get the bucket to the other side of the room and we can set it down. We let it down very quickly. And that causes a little bit of movement of whatever liquid's in the bucket, right? Because we're splashing or slopping. Now, if we set that bucket down really slowly, there won't be no sloppiness in it. And that's the same thing what happens with a firearm. If we use a good, consistent, firm grip, we've talked many times about 2 thumbs forward grip, not applying any pressures with our thumb or our trigger finger, and getting that trigger back as slow as we can and get a consistent grip, taking a little bit of the the edging off that pistol to make sure your wrist is locked out a little bit, and give me a 60-40 grip, which is 60% from your non-dominant hand and the rest of it 40% from your dominant hand. And this itself will give you better control, because you really do a two thumbs forward grip. You're actually seating the firearm in your two hands to give you better control. And the way the better control gives us, it gives us a lot of consistency. And that's what we need as a firearm person shooting a pistol. We need consistency to become accurate. We always talk about confidence. We need to build confidence, and with confidence comes accuracy. But what builds confidence is understanding trigger press, understanding trigger control, understanding how to hold the pistol, how to shoot the pistol, how to aim the pistol. And these are the things that we need to really concentrate on. And these are the things that we teach in all of our classes, and especially the Masterclass. Because with the Masterclass, not only do you get to read it through the ebook, not only do you get to see the course and the videos correlated to the course. When I say grip, you get to see the video of proper grip. There's no guessing at this point in time. And then you're going to see me shoot the drills prior to you shooting the drills. So it's a win-win for all of us, and you become more accurate. One of the greatest things the Masterclass gives most students is that aha moment. It gives them the ability to understand what the hell they're doing wrong. We all been there. I'm still there, guys. Every once in a while, I'll get that left shot. Every once in a while, I'll get that pull. And to this day, I've been shooting many, many years. I'm never perfect. There's always one or two. If you watch any of my YouTube channel, I can show you that most of my videos, and I think it's about the pressure of the camera being on me, but I'm going to blame it on that versus anything else. But realistically, I don't need to be a bullseye shooter. I need to be a defensive shooter. And the more we can get more confidence behind the firearm, the more that 8-inch paper plate is not going to be a challenge for us. All right. All right, Rob, very good. Repetition, muscle memory comes in, and in a I can't. Defense, it says. Yeah. So realistically, in my opinion, we need to get as much muscle memory as we can. That's why we need to get to the range and get a good, solid system, a repeatable system that you can repeat and feel comfortable with. It's going to make you a better shooter, because we need to go to the range and challenge ourselves. Because if we don't challenge ourselves, range time can get pretty damn boring pretty quick. But when we have a system or something we're trying to win or something we're trying to build, it makes it so much easier for us. So number 3 is flinching or anticipation. The problem is prepping for recoil by pushing the gun down ruins your shot. This is one of those things that students don't even realize you're doing. They don't even realize that you're doing any kind of manipulation to the pistol, because it just feels natural to you to stop. So you're driving the gun forward to stop it from flipping in your hands. Well, one of the things we got to do, and most people who are doing that are trying to muscle the gun with their hands. We, gentlemen, we don't use our hands to shoot a pistol. We use our chest to shoot a pistol. If you use your pecs, drive your hands out in front of you. Here, I'll give you one right now, guys, all of you. Do this for me real quick. I want you to take your hands out in front of you. I want you to bring your hands together, and I want you to begin to squeeze your hands together. I want you to feel how your pecs kick in. Next time you go to the range, drive with your pec muscles to control the weapon. You're going to keep that gun a lot more level than trying to control it with your hands. Now, we have to grab a hold of the pistol. We have to hold the pistol. You are correct. But at the end of it, we need to control that weapon and not let it dip or let it fall. A lot of students shoot and let the gun rise during the shots and let it fall. If you're one of those, you are watching too much TV. That's not how it really works, but that's how the TV guns work, because there is no recoil in a TV gun. So all the actors are simulating a trigger recoil by lifting their hands. The gun should stay as level as possible with very little muzzle flip. That muzzle flip causes a lot of our issues because remember, we have that horizontal and vertical line that we need to be on. That horizontal line is your line of sight up here, and the vertical line is that dominant eye. That's where the gun needs to be. It needs to be over the dominant eye, and it needs to be horizontally and vertically. And we need to keep our weapon in that area to make us the most accurate person we could be with a firearm. So prepping for recoil or pushing down on the gun ruins your shot. How to fix this? There's a lot of ways we could fix this. We can do dry firing drills. We can retain reflex. There is a great drill that's called the ball and dummy drill. And basically what it is we take a dummy round, and we give it to one of your buddies and have your buddies load 5 rounds in your magazine, but one of those rounds are going to be this dummy round. And then have him mix them all up. It could be the first round, it could be the third round, it's going to be whatever it is, and you will identify if you are anticipating or flinching during the shot, because you'll have a couple live, and then all of a sudden that one will be not live, and all of a sudden you'll find the front of the gun flinching. Now, this is a fun drill. Because you can make a point saying you can bet your buddy a beer if you want to after you shoot, obviously, and go to the range and go ahead and put that in there and count how many flinches you got versus your buddy. And this is a good training tool because it helps you understand how to keep the weapon level at all times. Now, guys, you are commenting things, and I don't want you to think I am ignoring them. I will look at them when we get done with this, and we'll look at every one of them, if that makes sense. So I don't want you to think we're not commenting, but I like to get through the presentation, then we'll come back to them. Thank you for the next thumbs up. We appreciate that very much. That means a lot to me. There was somebody watching, give a thumbs up. I appreciate that very much. How to fix it? Dry firings, obviously, those surprise breaks. Bring that trigger back as slow as you can. There's the cadence drill where you can put the weapon out there, put 1 round in the magazine, go ahead and start spelling the word press, P-R-E-S-S. And as you bring that back slowly, you're going to get to that S, and the weapon's going to cut. And that's going to be the easiest way for us to get that trigger travel figured out. Now, you should know your pistol pretty well to get it to a certain point. You know how much travel you need to take out of that to get that trigger to the best point you can for the weapon to cut. Obviously, the more you do that, the easier it is, and the more you become understanding of your pistol. Me, here at the range, shooting hundreds and hundreds of pistols that aren't mine, they're students, I do the same exact thing. I put it out in front of me, and I kind of bring it back as slow as I can, and I try to feel the creep and see where it is. Some triggers are great, some triggers are terrible, but it helps me tell the student what to do with each weapon. Obviously, in high stress, we're not going to be doing any of this slow trigger press. We're going to be banging on that gun, but then we're going to be probably doing it at shorter distances. And the vital triangle starts at the shoulders and goes to the groin. So we're not even concerned about bullseyes, if that makes sense. We're just worried about uh, uh, stopping the bad guy. And what the only way to do that is to win. So practice that dry firing as much as you can. Talking about dry firing, I want to ask you guys a question. How many of you are dry firing at the range before you live fire? This is the one thing. This was my aha moment. This was what I put into the course when I gave the beta group, which was the very first group. And I gave the second week, we work on trigger. The first week, we work on foundation, how to hold the gun, how to, stand, how to do all that stuff, how to drive the weapon and everything else. The question is, a lot of people don't do enough training with the trigger, and they go to the range and they don't spend any time trying to not not understand the trigger press as much as possible. So this is what I'm going to give you, and I want you to try that this week if you can. When you go to the range, pick a target you know you do pretty well, but sometimes you have a little bit of a pull here and there. And what I want you to do is give me 5 live fires. But before you do the 5 live fires, I want 5 dry fires. 5 dry fires, 5 live fires. It tremendously help you understand that trigger travel than getting to the range and trying to figure it out, if that makes sense. So my suggestion is do all your drills you want to, but make sure you're shooting 5 rounds at a time and working on a good cadence, good speed that you can shoot the weapon. It's not about how fast we can shoot, it's how accurate we can shoot. People always ask, how fast should I shoot the pistol? You shoot the pistol as accurate as you can. So there really isn't the speed involved in it. Now, the faster we shoot the pistol, the more chances that gun could be at different angles, because not only are we fighting the gun itself, we're fighting recoil, we're fighting anticipation. So we get a lot of up and downs and rights and left. You all see them before at the range. But that dry fire, live fire thing is a big deal. All right, so let's go back to number 4. Number 4 is improper finger placement on the trigger. Now, I always say the tip of the finger, and it's kind of when I say the tip of the finger, I'm talking from the crease to the tip of the finger. Somewhere in there is your distance. Now, when you put crease in and more, you find that your finger kind of rolls at that point in time. So we want to try to stay above the crease as much as problem. The problem with the accuracy killer is too little finger in the gun or too much finger in the gun. And this physically will affect right and left and up and down. And I think the most important thing in all these things I'm giving you, I think that's one thing the Masterclass does better for everybody, is it helps you identify one thing at a time and fix it. Because if we're trying to fix 7 things at a time, we're never going to fix any of them. So we got to work on the foundation first. That's the first week. And then the second week is nothing but trigger. Nothing but trigger. Because we got to get you to understand you could have
the shittiest grip in the world. You can have a terrible stance. You can technically have the worst grip in the world. But if you got a great trigger press, you're going to be good. That's why I always tell men can shittily hold the gun and shoot it okay. Women have to work at it because they're not using all these muscles, these pecs and all that stuff. Women are using their back muscles. And if they don't know how to drive with the weapon properly, they never use it properly. And there becomes the challenge. And most men don't know how to tell a woman to control the weapon. They just say, what? Hold on to it. Hold on to it. Pull the trigger. Well, if you want your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other to come shooting you on a regular basis, you need to let me help her, or you need to watch some of these videos on our YouTube channel. There's a big women's list in there, and will help you help her become more confident at the range. Fair warning here. You bring her to me, she's going to outshoot you. My wife does all the time. Women are a better shot than men 90% of the time once they get over this big scare factor of the firearm. And once you got that in the brain, taking your wife to the range and letting her kick your ass once in a while, it's kind of fun. Now, the only thing about a woman is she's only going to do about 50 to 70 rounds, where a man could shoot 250 or 300 or 400 or 500. Now, they're not any better at that. That's the worst thing you can do as anybody is go in the range and shoot 500 rounds of ammo. You're not getting anything out of that but bad habits. So if you learn anything from my channel, 50 to 100 rounds max, get out of there. You're wasting ammo at that point in time. The only man that's making any money is the gun store that you're buying the ammo from. Because one round past fatigue is a waste. And that's when you start doing something manipulation-wise to the firearm that's causing the inaccuracy. It's all over the firearm. We've talked about 5 so far, and all these are going to cause you problems. And we can solve these. We can control the weapon through 5 rounds at a time, and on top of about 100 rounds. After that point, it's going to be a challenge for you. So what's the fix for the finger? And I will give you want to be on the pad. The pad is somewhere here to there. Now, it could be you're holding onto the pistol and your finger's not getting far enough in. Like me, I have short fingers, so I never really have the creep like other people do. But you could be Big John Stud, right? And have these big, massive hands. And you have to really work to keep your finger from going all the way into that pistol. And that's another thing that we have to work on. But getting the right firearm to fit your hand is an important part of shooting a pistol. But a lot of times, the opportunity to put the right pistol in your hand. That's the challenge of most students, is you're not buying a gun that you like. You're buying a gun because someone told you it's the best gun for you, especially newbies. We're like us, we're a firearms training facility. We don't tell you what gun to buy. We let you shoot multiple guns, and you tell us what you like. Now, in fairness, there's a few on the market that outshine everything else. And if you want to know what they are, it's the Smith & Wesson Shield equalizer. Shield Plus, that's one. A Smith & Wesson equalizer is 2. Any of the Taurus line, the G3s right now are pretty popular. I don't really like them as much due to the fact they don't have back of the whiteout sights in the back. Howard, how are you, sir? Welcome. I'm glad you're here, Howard. Thank you for being here. Uh, yeah, Glocks, obviously. I'm not a Glock guy, but we sell the 19s, the 43Xs, the 48s. I mean, those are all good quality pistols. I'm not a SIG guy, but a lot of people like the 365 for carry and home. 320, it's kind of I'd stay away from that one for now, only because of what's the issues are with those, or what they say is issues of. I don't know for sure. But there are a lot of different pistols. You just got to pick one that's going to fit you. The only way to really do that is to learn the proper way. It's hard to go to a gun range and rent a firearm if you don't know how to properly hold a firearm and expect to tell the difference between 3 or 4 pistols when you're inaccurate already. Does that make sense? I shot all those pistols today and I liked them, but they all shot low and left. They all shot low and left. Not you shot low and left. I love the guys in the back. They're looking at the firearm like, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with this gun? Yeah, okay. That's what's wrong with the gun. Yeah, it's the gun. It's not you, buddy. I promise you. It's not you. Placing the pad or your first joint on your hands, on your dominant hand side in the center of the trigger. And what we're looking for is a trigger straight back to us. And that's the key thing. We don't want to have our finger on the trigger well, but we don't want to be up high on the trigger either. We want to be right in the center of the trigger and bringing it straight back to me. And that's going to give you a level pistol without having too much stuff. And that has to do with just spending the time behind the gun, dry firing enough to understand it. I tell you this Smith and Wesson, and I'm sort of I'm biased on the Smith and Wesson because my customer base is all new students, and I'm looking for that right pistol for each student. It's very hard for me to put a Smith and Wesson equalizer in any person's hand. I'm talking from 11 years old to 89-year-old, and these are women, and them not shoot it well, run it well, and be accurate with it. Once they're taught the drive method, it is a great piece. 15 rounds, 13 rounds, 10 rounds, rackability. But they have other guns out there in the market. You can't take my word for it. You have to shoot them first. But if you go to a place that doesn't allow that, you got to make your own decisions. But most of the people would not be disappointed in that weapon. It's good for men and women. It has that backstrap safety that makes the gun super safe. It comes with a safety without a safety. Not that I'm trying to sell anybody anything. We don't sell firearms on this YouTube Live or anything else like that, but just recommendations are coming from a guy who has sold I won't say thousands, probably close to 1,000 right now of that in the last couple of years. And they are a solid, phenomenal piece. So get to a range and shoot one. You'll understand what I'm telling you. Number 5 is poor stance or body position. This is the challenge of most people, is they don't seem to understand that we need to be in an athletic stance to control the weapon properly. And what that means is you may be leaning back a little bit. I see that a lot at the range. People and women lean backwards because what happens out of that gun, the casing itself comes out, and maybe their significant other didn't show them how to control the weapon properly, and they got one of them hot casings hitting them one time or another, and it freaked them out. So they lean sort of back when they're shooting, and that causes a little bit of issue. Uh, you could physically have an unbalanced posture that's going to affect your accuracy and control and recovery. Because what tends to happen is that gun's coming back. If you're leaning back, you're going to get pushed back. So we want to lean into the gun. That's why we want to drive it out. And then if you really think about this, we just got to get our nose over our toes. And if we get our nose over our toes, that means we're leaning forward a little bit. And what's that going to do? That's going to get our booty out. And we're going to be more into the front part of our toes than we are our heels. If we got our weight on our heels, we're always going to fall backwards. If we have our weight on our toes, we're going to survive the recoil and suck it up a little bit. So we want to make sure that we're in an athletic stance the best way we can. What is that? That's feet shoulder width apart, bouncing on your knees, just no lock knees, leaning forward slightly, and that transitions the weight to your toes, slight lean forward, knees bent with shoulders aggressive. In other words, you're driving those shoulders forward, which is driving your hands forward. Then you're going to suck up that recoil. Imagine if I were to take a ball, plastic ball, not like a handball, that you play dodgeball with or something like that, and you were on your heels and I hit you with that, it's going to make you fall backwards. But if you're standing a little forward and I hit you with it, it's just going to bounce off. It's not going to cause you to fall forward or fall backwards because you are in a balanced stance. And the balanced stance is one of those things that we have to get our head around. Because I don't know how many times you've seen somebody in the range with 1 foot forward and 1 foot back trying to suck up the recoil in a weird stance. What does that do if you've got your left foot forward and your right foot back? That puts you at a weird angle. If you have your right foot forward and your left foot back, that puts you in an odder angle. So we need to get those feet shoulder width apart, bouncing on our knees, and leaning forward just enough to get our nose over our toes and suck up that recoil. And then it will allow you to keep that weapon more level. A more level weapon will shoot level. Because then we're just working off our line of sight. We have that vertical line. That's where the gun has to be. It can't be below that line. A little tip here. If you shoot and you got your gun in your line of sight, you don't have to dip your head to get to it. When you dip your head to get to the gun, you're going to shoot low every time. And this is important because when we start the weapon low, we are going to shoot low. A weapon at an angle is only going to shoot at an angle. A weapon at an angle is only going to shoot at an angle. All right, number 6, misaligned sights, especially under stress. The problem with shooters often focusing on the target and forgetting sight alignment. That's kind of one of those deals. All right. What we need to think about mostly is we need to focus on our front sight. It's called front sight focus for a reason, because technically people don't vision or don't see what's supposed to be seen when you are shooting a pistol. Let me give you the vision. If you are pointing your weapon at a target, it's very hard for us to do multiple things or focus on multiple things at a time. That's why muscle memory is so important for us, because with muscle memory, it makes it easier because we're going to fall back, guys, to our weakest training, if that makes sense. So here's the story. If I got the gun out in front of me, what should I be seeing? Well, first of all, you should be seeing your target and identifying your target. Second thing you should see is your back sights, then your front sight, then your base, your target, wherever it's going to be. Now, once we've found and located all that stuff, we need to begin to focus on that front post and stare a hole in it. Now, what you'll find will happen to you is your front post will be crystal clear. There will be no haziness to it. It'll be right there. Your target that you're aiming at will be blurry. Your front, your what I call it, your back post or your back sights are going to be blurry. But if you pay attention to your front post and look at the target, you can visually see what you're aiming at, and you will cut the shot. Then when the gun levels back out, start focusing on that front post again till it becomes clear and cut the shot. And then cut the shot. And when it'll start falling back down in your line of sight, and once it's there, cut the shot. What we need to get to, guys, is we need to get to trusting our sight system. One of the challenges for most students, and we're going to cover here in a few seconds, is not following through. If I shoot the pistol and I lift my head up over the pistol to see where my impact is, that's going to cause a lot of inaccuracy because now we're not behind the gun. Thank you for the third thumbs up. I appreciate that very much. Everyone's who watching, I appreciate that very much. And when you get that up there in your line of sight, guys, and you cut that shot properly, you shouldn't have to look to see if you hit the impact because you are going to be confident enough to know you are. It's when you are doing some manipulation is when you are not paying attention is when you pull a trigger the wrong direction, if that makes sense. So fix is focusing on front sight focus. Make sure they're equal height, equal light, which is that box we're talking about up front. Make sure you get the equal. And practice finding your sight picture quickly. Follow through. Follow that sight each time. This can be done through dry firing. This can be done at the range. You could do this with one-shot drills. You can do it with 5-shot drills. You just need to focus, focus, focus. Easiest thing I can give you guys, get a 6-inch paper plate and work on the 6-inch paper plate. Work on just getting that trigger out and keeping it level. One of the challenges of most people is they put those targets lower than they should be. If you're in the range and you're pointing at a target down because you're looking at you're working the last 3 circles on the target, which is not really a good idea. But if you're going to do that, don't use your wrist to get there. Use your waist to get there. And always, if you can, put the target in your line of sight. Because if you put the target in your line of sight, it's going to help you tremendously see what kind of manipulation you're having. When you have to aim low, you're going to hit low. That's just the way it is. All right, number 7 is over gripping with your firing hand. In other words, over gripping with your dominant hand, not your non-dominant hand. The problem is crushing a gun with your firing hand causes tremor and directional pressure. And this is what they're talking about is when you squeeze with this hand really, really tight, that's going to cause a lot of manipulation. Next time you're at the range, just go ahead and put that gun in your hand and squeeze really hard with it. You'll see what will happen. That gun will roll off to the right if you're right-handed, and it'll roll off to the left if you're left-handed. So we talk about always making sure we have enough pressure on our non-dominant hand to control it as best we can, because that's really where the power is. If you take a handgun and you have your dominant hand, really the only hold on to that pistol is your three fingers. So now your non-dominant hand should give you more power because you have four fingers on there. What happens is when you are over gripping with your firing hand or your dominant hand, it causes a lot of the issues. So your support hand, this is the fix, should be 60% doing all the work. Your firing hand should be the rest, and make sure you get that grip properly each time, and you need to feel it. So it's hard for someone to judge what is 60%, John, what is 40%. I'm going to give you a good way to do this. I want you to squeeze decently enough with both hands, and right before you cut the shot, I want you to give me just a little bit more with your non-dominant hand. It's not 60-40. It's what you are going to do. A lot of people get carried away trying to figure out how much loose they need to be or how tight they need to be. Just hold on to the gun the best way you can. You'll know if you're not holding on to it properly, because you will cause it to do some inaccurate stuff. But I want to make sure those four fingers are squeezing harder than these three fingers are. And it's an easy tell. It's not hard to realize what you're doing there once you understand it. Just it's a more pressure on your non-dominant hand. And what that will do is that will level out the pistol to make it in the center, basically, and get that weapon over your dominant eye and slowly cut those triggers back, and you'll be working like a champ and shooting like a champ. All right, number 8 is sloppy follow-through, and we just kind of gave you that away here a little bit ago, but it's important for us to understand what that means, because people don't understand some of this stuff. Releasing the trigger too fast, dropping the gun after the shot causes erratic grips. And why is that happening? Because you are prairie dogging. Prairie dogging is when you reach over, look over the gun. How do I shoot? How'd I do? Well, the problem with that is the moment you drop your arms and you look over the gun, that's where the bullet's going to go. Just slow down. Trust yourself. Impact the target where you need to impact it. After the 5 shots, bring it in. Let's look at it. Let's see what it is. Now, in the Masterclass, what we have the students do, and this is a good tip for you guys, is get your markers. Get your red marker. Get your blue marker. Get your green marker. Get your purple marker, brown marker, whatever. And then each 5 rounds you shoot on a target, I want you to mark each one of those rounds the coordinated color. First round could be red. Mark them all red. Now visualize those red targets. What happened? Was 3 where they needed to be and 2 went to the left? Well, that probably tells you that you put too much finger in as you were shooting, or you lost some grip, or you lost some power. And that's kind of will help you. And these are the things when you start seeing these, you go, oh, I felt that. I felt that bad pull. I felt that bad recoil. I didn't feel I was in control of that weapon. And then things start going, oh. Then you start getting all these aha moments. And then all of a sudden, you know what? The fat guy might be right about a couple things. The fat guy might be he might know just a little bit to help you become more accurate. And that's the one thing that we see students do all the time, because I tell them proper grip in the back. I show them proper grip in the back. I tell them proper grip in the back. And all of a sudden, after about 3 magazines, they get the proper grip. They understand the proper grip. And they start seeing their accuracy rise. And then they have that bing, the aha moment. And they look at me and say, you should have said that from the beginning. And I look at them and go, I've been saying it. You just haven't consumed it yet. That's the beauty of any training, is one way or another, you're going to consume it the way you are. That's why we put the masterclass the way it was. I wanted to give you an ebook. I wanted you to read it. There are people going to watch this, maybe not tonight, maybe 6 months from now, that are completely readers. They cannot watch a video. They can't listen to anything. They get it all from a book. So I gave you a book. There are people on here that wouldn't read a book if someone gave them $1,000,000, right? But they could watch a video. I get plenty of people watching our videos. So I put a video together for you. And then there was the person that wanted to see the video, they wanted to read the book, and they wanted to go to the range and work on it. And that's the course we built for you. That's the course you're going to get into if you want to become more accurate with a pistol. You're not only, that course is going to give you week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Week 1 is foundation. Week 2 is trigger. Week 3 is speed and accuracy. Week 4 is real world situations. And week 5, we're going to look at the rest of the stuff, see how you did. We give you a beginning drill and an end drill and see if you actually got better. And I don't even have to ask most students. They're already saying, I see accuracy. And I see the accuracy because I see their first target versus their last target. And this is a very easy course. My job really is to educate you enough that you could take a friend or a family that's never shot before to the range and make them more proficient. And we need that in the 2A community because we lose people all the time. Some people come from places that guns aren't very, very liked, and it becomes so much easier when you have the ability to educate somebody. You got a shooter partner. Now you've got people you can go to the range with. Now you're helping them with their safety. You're protecting them. So there's a lot to this. That's why we put the program together. Besides, it's a passion of mine. I hope it shows because it is something that I really love and I really want to do for the rest of my life because the education is such a great thing. And to take a student from next to nothing to something, it makes a big difference for me. Problem solving. Number 9 is, let me give you the fix. Stay in the sights. Rest the trigger with control. Reset the trigger with the control. Rebuild the grip after each shot if needed. Milking is one of those things people do. They grip over. And the reason why people re-grip the firearm is they're not doing 2 or 3 things. They're not doing proper grip. They're not doing any kind of control of the grip, or they're not driving the weapon. If it's a woman, using her back muscle. If it's a man, and that causes the gun to be slippy in the hands. So we want to try to stay in the sights, keep your head down to the bullet impacts, go ahead and shoot the 5-round drill, and then bring it in, then identify what our situation is happening. That's the one thing that happens in the course, guys, is these guys not only send me their pictures, they send me the pictures of the targets, but they turn them in as homework, you understand? And when they turn them in as homework, I grade them, then call them, email them, text them, and find out what I can do to help them when I see in some erratic stuff that I know that I can help them with. I can tell pretty easy. My son, Johnny, years ago, we did a video called The Shot Doctor. Pretty early in my career, Johnny put my fat head on a doctor's body, and I took the targets and identified what the student was doing wrong from over the weekend. I didn't know who the student was, but I was looking at what the target looked like to me, and it was identifying issues. And I think that was a big education for students, because then you can start identifying what's causing the low and left, what's causing all that stuff. And that shot doctor really helped out. That's kind of why we did what we did in turning in your videos or your pictures, because I wanted to be able to give you enough information for you could educate yourself on that. So we need to make sure a number 9 is rushing the shot. This is a big deal for people. They get back there and they, not turn the gun sight. We don't allow any of that stuff. And bang, 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 bang. They just shoot as fast as they can. Now, I get it. Everyone wants to do that one. But the problem with speed over technique leads to poor hits and leads to inaccuracy and leads to getting your ass kicked out of the range. We need to control every shot. We are not in this for fun. We're in this for survival. And you need to make sure you get your head around that as much as possible. Due to the fact that you're going to be educating yourself on how things went. All right. So my answer to this is go slow to fast is the best way you can do it. Take your time, build the speed. Once you build the speed faster and faster and faster until it's done, it's accuracy first, then speed will follow. Use drills like the reset drill, which is on our website. Use anything you can that'll give you the time and the accuracy you're looking for. Range time really, guys, is for more putting bullets together. And we can do it as fast or as slow as we can. But in the long run, if we start getting too fast and missing the targets, then we're shooting way too fast. But if you're shooting and you're stacking the rounds on top of each other, cloverleafing, let's go ahead and speed up a little bit. Cloverleaf is when the 3 bullets make a clover. Let's speed up a little bit, make it a little faster, if that makes sense. Number 10 is lack of repeatable process. The problem with doing something different every shot means no consistency. With no consistency, you ruin everything, if that makes sense. You want to fix it by building a pre-shot routine, grip, stance, sight picture, trigger press. Do the same thing every time. Doing the same thing in same way, missing the same, you're never going to get better at it. You got to identify what's causing most of your inaccuracies and get them solved as quick as possible. Are you ready to fix it for good? If anything, these accuracy killers sound familiar and you're not broken. It's just untrained. Join the Masterclass. It's a great step-by-step system that'll fix your fundamentals, build your speed and control, and you will train smarter with real drills that will work. So if you've been frustrated and shooting and you're missing low and left and you're inconsistent groups where it's just not getting results you want, you know why now. It's not the gun. It's not your sights. It's the habits. It's the fundamentals. The most shooters never truly master. Good news is I can fix you. I can fix you in one single class. These accuracy killers are a system you need to solve yourself, and you will have no more guesswork when you do the masterclass itself. That's why I created it. I give you a step-by-step plan that actually works. There's no fluff. There's no bullshit rabbit holes. It's just drills, clean instructions, results you can see on paper. if you're ready to take your shooting to the next level, the Masterclass is the way to go. If you want to know more, guys, if you want to know more about the Masterclass, this Saturday at 4 o'clock, we're going to have a free webinar on the Masterclass as well. This is limited to only like 10 students anyways, guys. So I don't believe we're going to have 10 spots left. But if you want to and you want to get the information, it'll be in the links down below. And I'm so secure on it's going to change your fundamentals that we always offer a money back guarantee. If it does not change your accuracy and you're not 100% satisfied, I will refund your money. The class this coming June 7th is only $89.99, and that's working with me on Monday nights at 7 p.m. for 4 weeks, actually 5, and working on your fundamentals. You got to be available at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then you go to the range once a week. First week, second week, it's about 50 rounds apiece. Third week, we do 100 rounds, and fourth week, you go back to the 50 rounds. And at that point in time, you'll be doing dry firing, you'll be doing live firing, you'll be getting drills, techniques, homework, and working with me throughout that whole time for that little bit of money. And you're going to improve your accuracy 100%. All right, that's it for the night. That's our live. I'm going to go back and answer some questions if you don't mind. There's going to be a link down below when this goes live on YouTube. On the YouTube, there'll be a live down below. And I will tell you, it's very important. Thank you, Phil. If you're on this call this evening and you have come from Facebook or YouTube, please make sure you do all the likes and subscribe and all. YouTube is very weird because YouTube, sometimes people get unsubscribed from my channel for some reason or another. And I would ask you before you get off this evening, make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that bell icon. And anytime we upload a video like this, you will be the first to know. So let's go up and answer any questions that we have. And then we're going to get the heck out of here. First of all, I'm going to thank some people for being here this evening. Phil, thank you very much. John, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Rob Bomber, thank you very much. Rob said he's been in Facebook jail before. Good evening. Welcome from New Jersey. Thank you. Kurt Richards, appreciate you very much. Muscle memory, Rob talked about. Under pressure shooting. Yes, that's one thing we need to work on. The shit moment makes a big difference. There we go. All right. I asked earlier, you guys do dry firing at the range, and Rob said he did all 3. That's great, Rob. Awesome. Howard, thank you for being here. Greetings. As far as the gun, I love my 1911, but for carry, it's not so much. Yeah, it's good. Shield Plus. Shield, that's nice. 9mm. That's my latest. Awesome. Very good there. That's a good one. I carried a shield for a long time, Rob. Kurt Richards said he took his wife to the range and out shooting. Perfect groups. That's awesome. That's awesome, Kurt. Very cool. And then Phil said, like and subscribe and hit that bell icon. 100%. Thank you very much. Well, guys, God bless this evening. Thank you very much for being here. I enjoy these every night. They are fun for us. We're trying to get this going further and further. Be honest with you, this is one of our biggest ones we do because we get a lot of people hitting this stuff now. And it's, gives us a little bit of time online. People watch it for a longer period of time. So if you like these things like this, let us know. That way we can start maybe introducing a few more. It would be definitely worth everything if I could do a few more of these. They're a lot easier to do, not much editing being involved in these versus when you do a YouTube video or shorts or anything else like that. But until next time, guys, God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line of defense. I see you, folks. God willing. Love you. Good night.